Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live. Talk radio without the static. Email your questions and comments to lynncullenshow@gmail.com. And now your host, Lynn Cullen.
Yep, that would be me. How you doing? Welcome to the show. It is the 8th of July, the 8th of the 7th month, and it's a Tuesday, which means my sister Susan is on the line. Hi, Suze.
Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm here.
Well, that's good. Rather, I don't know.
No, I'm fine. I'm good. I had a busy weekend. I had children and grandchildren and mother, and that's a lot.
Children and grandchildren and mother. That would be a lot. Yeah. But so now you're just mother, right?
Yeah, blissful. She and I are just like smiling at each other.
You mean because it's quiet?
Yes.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay, so Suze, I wanted to, I don't know if you saw this, but I wanted to tell you that it made me laugh. And, you know, these days, anything that makes you laugh, you grab it. It's about Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson.
Yes.
A poor woman. I can't imagine. Those three women.
No, to get your dream job and then watch this happen.
Yeah. I mean, have it be just a nightmare.
Just a nightmare.
Yeah. So I was reading about the fact that she has emerged as the most, her and Sotomayor, the most
strident critics of the court.
Yeah. Yes. And the strain of this job for her, we can only imagine. But she has, according to an interview she did with the Associated Press, she has found one thing that has really helped her.
Boxing.
That is correct.
Really? I didn't read the article.
No, I know you didn't, but it's why I chuckled and why I wanted to tell you. Because it's so good for her.
It's so good for people.
It's so good for people who are in stressful situations where they have to maintain, they can't necessarily show all the frustration they're feeling and the anger. And what a great way to get rid of it and get yourself healthy as well. I mean, it's just a perfect solution, and I wanted to.
It's also surprisingly cerebral. You really have to use your head as much as you have to allow your body to not be overcome by your head. It's very, it's really good for people. And I'm telling you, the older you are, the better it is for you in terms of learning new things, learning how to copy patterns between each side of your body and use them identically when you have spent your whole life favoring one and pretending like the other was, paralyzed. And if you're a woman, overcoming the cultural inhibitions to simply flat out hit something, which was surprisingly strong. It's for people who have things like Parkinson's. It is the recommended exercise because it does all of these things. It's aerobic and it's fun.
Okay, good. I don't. Isn't it called? You were saying it's surprisingly cerebral. Isn't it's boxing that is called the sweet science? Is that what that when you said that?
I don't know, but it is surprisingly that way. Yeah.
I'm going to quickly look
and really a skill to be able to have your brain working the way you need it to work while stepping back and allow your body to naturally do what it would naturally do if your brain didn't inhibit it. So
Yeah.
it's taken me years, and now I've had to stop for a while because I was really bashing my shoulder, and I really was hitting things hard, and that's hard on an old lady's.
Well, I'm sure. No, I know it's good. I did a little of it years and years and years ago. I was stunned at how difficult it was. What a cardiovascular workout it was. I was just astonished. But I have aggression is so not my. It's hard. It's really hard on for me. So I don't think it works for me or whatever. But it's. I thought you'd be.
No, that's simply that's part of the exercise, Lynn.
Yeah. Well, I thought it'd be.
Learn how to take those self-imposed, I mustn'ts away and let loose with. I guarantee you, I know you. It's in there, honey.
I have bottled up rage. Okay, well, anyway, just want you to know that the Justice and you are, maybe you can get together and have a sparring.
We have so much in common, our legal background.
Yeah, that's about it. And your boxing. That's
our
it.
boxing. Right.
But
that's about it.
Yeah, yeah. So, I got a little reminder today. What I'm missing this Friday in Green Bay is my 59th high school reunion.
Oh no, where is it?
Oh, it's so funny. First of all, that there's a 59th is funny, but I've mentioned this before. Because
we have them. I got to tell you, my high school class now has them every year. They have so much fun getting together.
Huh.
And they just say, come if you want. And they pick a day in August every year. And
Huh. Well, mine does not. And the last time there was the 50th, I think. I don't think there was a 55th. And you assume the next one will be the 60th. So when the invitation for the 59th came out, I thought, what? And, it's exactly what you think. Although they didn't, think of, I don't think they realized it was as funny as it is. But I mean, it's.
They decided not to wait and lose a few more.
Yeah, because people are dropping dead left and right. And I mean, so why wait another year? What's the big deal? We're like, we have to stick with this, has to be a 0 at the end. No, time is different for us. So they're having the 59th. And I'm not going because I'm heading to Green Bay for Mom's birthday. And I just, yeah. And anyway, I don't think many people that I had necessarily wanted to see were going to be there. So the 50th was more than enough for me. However, I get the invitation, the reminder, and there's something so funny about all of it. So it's the 59th. You said, where is it? I don't know where this thing is. You tell me if you know where this is. It says it's at the Village Grill.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
Is it? On Hoffman Road?
Yeah, that's nicer than our digs ever are, yeah.
Well, but we don't do them every year. So, okay, so that's a nice place? Well, that's nice. Anyway, it tells all of the folks who are going there, Hoffman is off Webster, about halfway between the Reformatory and De Pere. So you go by you go by this, massive jail that's right near our house, and that
is so old, and it's
so
like
awful.
and they're trying to close it down, and somehow that's hard.
Oh my God, just awful. This, it looks like a medieval walled. It's just horrific. And here's the other funny thing in it. I saw what time it is.
3 o'clock.
You're close. You're close. The 59th reunion for the class of 66 runs from 4 to 8:30. Don't you think that's funny?
Yeah, I do think it's funny. What night is this? Is it
Friday night. Why don't you stop by
on
and
a
say
Friday night? They're closing down. They've taken over the Village Grill. That's like expensive. That's a nice restaurant. You and I don't know it because we never, we only go to one place and we never go there either. So
well, maybe it works for the Village Grill because they can have their usual people coming in at 8:30 and 9 if once the old geezers are.
This is Green Bay.
Yeah.
Nobody goes to dinner at 8:30 or 9 in Green
Bay. Okay. So there you have it. For
what?
4 to 8:30. And
that's prime time. That's the dinner rush.
Well, but they must have taken the thing over, right? I don't know.
Yes, I'm sure they did. And what I'm saying is that seems extraordinarily expensive to me.
Well, I don't think it was because they aren't explained here, but the first thing, the amount of money they were asking for it was minimal. Don't ask. I don't know. Maybe maybe somebody owns it that is in the class.
That's what I'm thinking. Somebody knows somebody.
Oh, God. Okay, so
we usually go to this disgusting dive. It's basically just a bar.
Yeah.
Out one of those roads, and with the most disgusting. When I say bar food, I conjure up some of my favorite food as bar food. This is not that.
Yeah. Well,
this is the prepared hamburger patties and frozen pizza place.
Yeah. It's sad, but another reason that I really thought I'm not going to go is that because it was a blue collar, mostly high school. My guess is when I've gone to the past reunions, it's clear that most of the people who are still living there and are in Green Bay and know each other are more working class types, and now that equates to their Trump voters. So I just thought, it's not necessarily the people I hung with either, a lot of them. And I just thought, I can't go.
I know. That's why I was so surprised about what happened at the election, because I had just gone to another one of these off-year high school reunions of mine and found myself in a room full, improbably, of Democrats, which I found out because one of my tangentially, really not close, tangentially acquaintance was now sort of worked in the Democratic Party, and she was just going up and asking people and coming around with her eyes bigger and bigger, and she's going, I thought this was going to be 100% Republican, and it is not.
Well,
and I was so excited by that, but it was misleading.
Well, so. And I think my class, is definitely whatever. And so, whatever. So I just, isn't that sad that but you realize that, you are in high school, you're in these little groups. I mean, you might be going with, there's hundreds of other people there in that building, but you don't necessarily.
You didn't know them? No, well, that's what I did at my 50th reunion. I walked around and introduced myself to most of the people in the room who I had never met. and who had never met me. And I just said hi. I was, I'm Susan. I was Susan Miller there, and I had my head so far up my ass that it didn't occur to me to meet any of you guys. So
well,
nice
but we
to meet
all
you.
did it. I mean, we went to different.
No, they did it. They
grade
didn't meet
schools.
me either. But
No.
they
I mean, it
they
just
were
was
happy to meet me now. It was probably a better time for us to meet.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I'm sure. Whatever. Anyway, I ain't gonna be there. So I'm avoiding.
And I can't send Mother, sorry, and I ain't going. Double
No,
sorry.
no. I think, did Mom stop in for a second at mine? I know she went to Bill's.
I don't know if she went to yours.
I think she wanted to, and I said no. Maybe she did. I think for the cocktail hour she popped in.
Yeah, I had what I did instead is had whoever wanted to come over to the house.
Yeah.
And I had a little, beer and wine thing before for people so that the people that actually wanted to see each other, could all see each other, and then we could go and be in the bigger group. And that worked really nicely, actually.
So I just have to talk about two things that happened here in Pittsburgh this weekend that I, at the time they were happening, did not know about, which shows how out of it I have become. The one newspaper that we still sort of had, the reporters went on strike. God, it's got to be almost 2 years ago now, and I have not touched that paper since. It's continued with scab reporters, and I just can't. So I literally don't know, and I can't watch local TV news very much, and so I just don't know what's going on. Well, two things that went on, which I find out later. One of them is really odd, and it's odd that both of these things were here. They were two sort of like convention-like things. Um, uh, Pittsburgh, you wouldn't think of as a major, convention destination, but the one has become one of these groups comes back every year.
Can I guess?
Oh, because I've talked about this before. Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to, is it the furries?
Yeah, the furries. So,
oh, boy.
The furries they fell in love with Pittsburgh. I think, they used to hop around in different places, and then they came to Pittsburgh and found Pittsburgh totally to their liking. And I think it had to do with they found Pittsburgh accepting of them. So they felt comfortable here. And I find that so strange about Pittsburgh because
you put the F on the end of LGBTQ.
Yeah, and furries.
And furries.
If you're a little strange and do weird stuff, but you don't hurt anybody, we like you. I don't know, but the other thing I don't understand. It's become a huge thing. I mean, it must really be good for our economy. It brings a whole bunch of people. It gets bigger and bigger, and it's like we now own them, the furries, and they come from everywhere. And Susan, the weird thing is some of these they spend years working on their costumes that they get into that totally transform them into these strange, sometimes mythical looking, sometimes and not others, creatures with often long tails and all this stuff, and it's always held like in the heat of the summer.
I know, and that's all I can think about is can they clean those things?
Well, they must have, but I cannot begin to imagine. This last weekend was so hot and the humidity so unbearable that I would think there would have been a bunch of passed out furries all over the downtown. I can't even begin to imagine. why you would do something like that in the summer. But so it wasn't just the furries. I read at Heinz Hall, which is where the Pittsburgh Symphony plays, and is very, I think of it as a very, highbrow facility. The World Beard and Mustache Championships were held.
Another
furry kind of thing.
Another furry sort of theme, yeah.
What the hell? So anyone who, didn't know, who happened to wander into downtown Pittsburgh this last weekend might have gotten, thought, where the hell and what is going on? I mean, unbelievable. So the beard and mustache thing, people literally, it's world championship. They come from all over the world. I don't know that the furries do, but this is all over the world. People with outrageous beards and mustaches. Unbelievable. So I just wanted to say, I didn't even know. I should have gone downtown and wandered around a little bit.
Well, you have to look at it from an outsider's point of view. One, Pittsburgh is an extraordinarily beautiful city.
Yeah,
I think people who have never been there are surprised when they get there.
Mm-hmm.
And you can get around and it's interesting and it's fun, and if no one's giving you crap,
and you're dressed like
and it costs a fifth of what New York City costs, why wouldn't you?
I agree. Susan, you should come work for the Tourism Bureau. Hey, Roger writes, didn't Leslie Stahl do a story on a woman boxer back in the day? And when Stahl put on gloves and tried it, she cried. Apparently, there was a release of emotions. For years, I wanted to try boxing for fitness and therapy, but now I don't think my hands are up for it. They hurt after shoveling snow. And he also says, my 45th anniversary is this year, high school. Never been to one. I went to all the boys' schools, and the last thing I want to do is spend an evening with a bunch of dudes. Yeah.
Which, by the way, is what my granddaughter has begun calling me.
She calls you dude?
I've gone from Nana to Suze to dude in about 30 seconds.
Wow. This, I take it, is your older granddaughter.
No.
The younger one? Oh,
yeah.
My God, that is too funny. Jonathan writes, curious, are the beard and mustache championships divided into men's and women's divisions? Or do they compete against each other? I have to say, I did wonder, is there a woman's division? Because, there could be.
We're not just a sideshow anymore.
No, women can be hirsute. And I mean,
yes, they can.
And a lot of us women who appear to be mustacheless and beardless, spend a lot of time getting rid of what could be a mustache or beard, right?
Right.
Oh, God. Okay. So, do you think I've avoided? Oh, I got one more avoidance thing before we venture into.
You're doing really well.
I know I am. And I'm thinking I shouldn't do this when I should say these for me when I don't, because at least with you here, you can, rant and rave and give me a break. But
but instead, my blood pressure is under control. Everything is good.
Damn.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. You're more than welcome. All right. So, here's something I have been wanting to talk about, and so let's talk about this because I am I'm pretty clueless, and I've been avoiding actually jumping in. And what I'm talking about is AI. All right.
Oh God. I am
No,
running the other way.
Okay, so just wait. I know I've dealt with it in no big way, but I happened to read this thing and I thought, for God's sake, here's a person. It was just a back and forth conversation with some people. And this one woman says this: AI has essentially replaced Google for me. I thought, what? She says, if I have any basic question, what setting do I put the toaster oven on to make turkey melt? How do I stop weeds from growing on my patio? And she goes to Chat GPT rather than Google. She said, and listen to this, I use it for interior decorating. I'll upload a photo of a room in my house and say, give this room a glow up. Tell me what furniture to buy and how to arrange it, and then generate an after picture. Whoa. And then she says, a friend of mine just told me they now talk to Chat GPT voice mode on their commute in their car instead of listening to a podcast. They'll just open it up and say, teach me something about modern art or whatever. Susan.
All right. Well, I mean, unless they're fact checking everything.
Yeah, but that's, this hallucination thing where you.
That is the intent. That is absolutely intent, and you're using it all the time. It's all over your Apple products.
I know. Another person I know. Listen to this.
Thing was,
Susan,
how about the AI generated Secretary of State?
Oh, that I don't know about. Someone.
Oh, well, somebody broke into the State Department and auto-generated the voice.
What? Oh, just his voice.
He contacting foreign diplomats, one governor, a congressperson.
Yeah. Well, that is totally doable. I mean, and I know my son has told me, given all of my voice that is out there and available, anybody could pretend to be me anytime.
Oh yeah,
totally.
Oh, so, and your image.
Yeah, my image as well.
They could
so
have
they could
you
even
saying
do video.
And doing anything.
Right.
You bet.
So here,
including a striptease.
Well, that's so cool. Okay, I'd even watch that. Another person I know, this woman said, just started using ChatGPT as her therapist after her listen, after her regular human one doubled her rates. Yeah, that would be seemingly stupid. But
well, not necessarily, because I excuse me, because I mean what I'm about to say as the wife and mother of a psychoanalyst. I really viewed my own foray into personal psychoanalysis as it was much to my surprise, much like law school, in that the intent was clearly to teach me a different way to think and to listen to my own thoughts. And if I paid attention to what was happening in there after a year or two, I should be able to do it, be in more of a self-led thing if I had been paying any attention. I'm not so sure it's bad for something like that. I also think a wall would do just as good.
Well, that might be too. The fact is it says since...
And in fact, we know that journaling is.
Yeah. So here's the thing. So I'm curious. So are people people are using, do you download, like, is it an app, Chat GPT?
Yes, you can download an app, but you will find that AI has already been integrated into almost everything that you're using on your device.
So, okay, but I'm saying, so people are using it for searches.
But
So,
yes, you can.
but so Google
Yeah,
must
but
be using it as well. So I'm just going through Google, probably using AI, right?
of course,
Okay, so um,
you can't avoid it.
no, it says Zoom now offers AI summaries of conference calls. Microsoft Office has AI around every corner, waiting to help write a letter, make a presentation. So people, I mean, people
I mean,
aren't.
we always had these things.
No, but
They're
we
now
didn't.
just,
I didn't. I no. So I mean, now somebody has to write a letter to somebody. So now they just go what to AI and say, I need to write.
Yeah. I need to write a letter with, requesting such and such from so and so at this amount of time. Well, you give them the facts, and then it generates the letter for you. So finally, for all those people that just couldn't learn how to write, we got a robot that'll do it better than you will.
Well, but that
But for
means
those
no.
people
See,
that
but
can
okay.
write, you still do it better than the robot.
But the thing is, okay. So I didn't want to get into what I was just about to do, which is moaning and groaning about how it means that nobody is going to learn how to do anything anymore if you can just pass it off everything. So rather than like doing your own imagination, like with your the room you want to redo. I mean, it's not. I just. I mean, I don't know. I think we're just making people stupider by the minute and lazier
Well,
by
I
the
mean, that's
minute.
sort of how I felt about calculators. I will say that.
Yeah.
And I was particularly worried about it, with my son because he was dependent on it. And I thought, you got to know whether the answer that's coming up on that thing is, in the ballpark. And if you don't know how to do it, yourself, how will you know? And I don't know. He, as you know, he turned out basically a rocket scientist, so it's okay.
Yeah, but how? I know, but so wait. I know. So should I get with the
It's a tool.
program?
It's
I mean, how
no.
do
I mean, you're in the program whether you're getting with it or not. Do you have to have an AI chat friend? No. You might find it a nice long-term relationship, Lynn. I mean, there are some people.
no, but see, that's the other thing that is really pathetic is
Oh, I know.
that so many people will
Isolated
be
people. Yeah.
using this as, and I say pathetic, and maybe I shouldn't, because it's better than feeling alone, I guess, if somebody has no possibility of somebody to talk to, that it gives them somebody to talk to. But there's something so sad about it. And the number of people using AI now for companionship and or
I find
even
it chilling.
love. Yeah. But again, it's
I mean,
that,
go to the grocery store and talk to the cashier. I do it all the time. It's fine.
well, oh dear. Okay. So I guess I don't even quite understand what it is. But so do I pay when I download Chat GPT? Is it going to just be another icon on my phone? And do I pay for that or not? Do you know?
Well, I don't know. I haven't downloaded the app. Go to the app store and find out.
Mm. But I wouldn't. I don't even want. As I say, I don't want to do it. And yet, as you say, I already am unwittingly. So, okay. Damn. So,
yeah, I mean, you know how this works. You either go with the flow of civilization, or it runs right over you. I mean, you ain't stopping it. You can choose to participate or not, but it's going. And if you want to have any idea or ability to participate in your society moving forward, you have to at least acknowledge its existence and its effect upon your life.
Yep.
You don't have to try to engage with it more than you want, but to think that you aren't engaging with it daily and all the time because that's where we are is naive. That's all.
Yeah. Well, I think I want to, be aware of it more and understand it more. I didn't realize you could.
Well, and be on your guard against it more.
Well, that's true too. I mean, the amount of media literacy now required, and we were already not. Most people are extraordinarily illiterate in terms of media, and that's when media was more simple and obvious. That's your TV, that's your radio. Now you're just surrounded by people picking at, and they have all that information about who you are, what you like, how to seduce you. It's all there. How to separate you from your money, right? It's all there. Oh. So,
yes, it is.
But it doesn't, you are not at the point yet that it occurs to you to, like that person says, to just say, hey, I'd like to know about this movie. Tell me about it. And some disembodied voice starts talking to you. You haven't done that.
No.
You're still old-fashioned.
And no, and I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it. No.
Okay.
And I don't see the need to change the way I access my information, acknowledging that there is in the Venn diagram of information sites, there's an overlap.
Margaret says, I use it to write letters at work. I'm sure, yeah.
It increases your productivity. You can be doing something else while AI is writing that routine business letter. Well, it's not that different than the way a law firm works. We have forms for everything, and then we have someone that goes in and inserts the numbers in the form. These are all generated by humans long ago and used over and over and over again. Voila, that is AI. It's just feeding all that information into a source and then spitting it out to you, but it's only as good as what it's been fed. And in the end, that's your job.
Yeah, well, you can see where, what used to be entry-level jobs in just about any white-collar situation are gone. They're just going to be gone.
Gone. Not
I don't understand. That's the part that just freaks me out. I cannot conceive of. Whoa.
So I read something today that made me feel at least seen, because it's something that I have been complaining about for a while now, but I wasn't hearing anybody else complain about. And it turns out that there are tons of normally sized women like me that are being just sized out of regular women's clothes.
No, I want to say you are not you are thinner than most women.
I weigh 100. I am 5'5" ¾ and I weigh 124. So yes, I'm thin, but I'm not. I am not unusually thin, and the way
so what are
they
saying?
built,
because there's so many more of us who are carrying more weight than
changed the sizes.
They always change the sizes. You can't be sure
but here's
of sizes.
the thing, Lynn. I'm a size. If I take out of my closet a blouse that I can barely get around me now, it says on the back of it size 10.
Mm-hmm.
If I go into a store and buy a blouse now, I am either a 2 or a 0.
Geez, you better
And
watch out. You're going to be a -2 pretty soon.
I have been complaining about it for years, and I said I am not a 0. I'm right here. I can see myself, and this is offensive. And I don't care if the women at the other end would rather be a 10. You can't push me off the line. And now here's the thing: I can't buy clothes anymore. What was a small, I've gone from a medium to a small to an extra small, and I find out that there's a whole bunch of women like me that then go to petites, but they're now
and
the
they
arms
go
and
into
legs
the
are
you go into the
proportional.
children's.
Now we have to buy children's clothes. I am not a child. And here's
Yeah, but
the other thing.
Susan, but little girls are dressing like women, so it shouldn't be.
Well, you want to know why? Because the women are buying the clothes.
Okay. Hey, I got a caller here. Can I?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's let someone.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello.
I don't know how women shop for clothes.
How women?
I don't either.
Okay, you don't have to talk about that.
I mean, I've been shopping with my wife, and it's the most confusing thing to me as far as how do you find what's the right fit, what's the right.
You have to put it on.
You are so much more complicated than us guys. Just be t-shirt and jeans. Holy cow! And the sizing. I mean,
it's ridiculous.
Well, it doesn't. You can't go by sizes. No matter if you're on one end or the other, Suze, you can't. I mean, you can't. That's true.
I mean, you go into Macy's, you look for a blouse or a shirt, and with a size 8 or 10 there, you go to Chico's, it's a size 2 or a size 0, and it's just, is it just about making you feel good? I guess.
Yeah,
it is. No, the sizing now is just an ego thing. And I'm just saying that I'm getting a little tired of having my ego totally disregarded and stopped on because I'm supposed to just feel good about myself.
Oh, pooh.
I mean,
Susan, there are so many other women who, most people have trouble with being overweight. So if more women are made to feel just for a moment better because they're now at 12 as opposed to a 14, 0 doesn't mean you don't exist or anything. Give them a break. There's more women.
Well, no, Lynn, I'm just going to say that it's bad form to poo-poo the concerns of people that have problems other than yours.
Oh, geez. Don't go all woke on me here.
This isn't the reason why. That's not the reason I called. The reason I called was because you're talking about AI.
Yeah.
And I've listened to some interesting podcasts on Ezra Klein, and I have a friend of mine. He's a nursing oncologist up at NYU, and he's really big into AI. Yeah. And it's a tool. And what the guest on Ezra Klein's show was talking about, she says, look, I don't have a problem with AI when somebody like me uses it because I've got 30, 40 years of hard work I've done into this. If something doesn't look great, I know it doesn't look great. It's the kid trying to cheat on it, trying not to do the work for, their book report is the concern, and that's the challenge for the schools. But Google's is really AI, right?
Yeah, essentially.
If you Google 20 years ago, it's AI. And the other thing that annoys the hell out of me is if you watch baseball, what do they need managers for now? Pitch count, they're watching velocity. Somebody's telling them to replace the pitcher, and it ain't the manager. It's not the catcher saying he just doesn't have the stuff anymore.
It's a statistician. It's a statistics person, probability person.
Well, it's like Moneyball.
Yeah. Okay.
You ever see the movie or read the book?
Right. It's a data manager.
Yeah.
It's like, and
so just have little computers in the. Oh man.
Oh. He said, who's going to replace? It's going to replace doctors. they'll just need technicians to, AI is actually a better diagnoser than doctors are.
Yeah.
As far as when it comes to medical illnesses.
Well, have you been in an operating room where any kind of medical device is used? Because what's standing behind the surgeon is
a
guy.
Yeah.
No, a guy and a computer. The guy works for the device company, and he's basically there, helping the doctor who is just there, locating the device. I mean, it's all it's almost there now.
I mean, they've done tests where they've used a doctor, and then they use a combination of a doctor and AI, and then they use just AI to diagnose like diseases that people are struggling with. And guess what was the most accurate?
AI.
Of those three scenarios.
AI
beat the doctor AI combination, beat the doctor's pants off. Yeah. AI. So I don't know where this will lead to. It's interesting. It's scary as hell, but it's out of my hands, I guess.
Well, I've got my next surgery. I've already, I met with the last surgeon I met with, said, he talked to me about how he does, a robotic. So the next, I think the last two surgeries I've had have used, that kind of stuff. I can't even begin to imagine. Can't.
As long as it's getting right.
That's what I was saying. You should be very grateful.
Geez. All right, enough.
All right.
I'm sorry I brought this whole subject up. Goodbye.
Yeah, this is better than the other stuff, though.
All right. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Damn.
It is better than the other stuff.
Gigi writes, I'm no tech whiz, but I use DuckDuckGo instead of Google. Really?
Well, it doesn't.
It doesn't track your activity. She says it does not track your activity as Google does, nor do I see AI summaries when I do a search. How do you know? Do they have to be labeled?
That's their. First of all, that's their thing. I mean, that's their assurance as a site that they aren't doing that. That your searching is private.
Okay,
and that they aren't selling everything that you're doing somewhere.
Okay, so they say according to them, the AI they use is optional and private. It doesn't track your activity or train on your data. It's a nice alternative to Google. I have friends who use ChatGPT for just about everything. I have no desire to engage it. Got another caller here. Hello.
Hey, Lynn, it's Mary Warwick.
Hi, Mary.
I have to chime in about AI. I haven't heard you talk about this. It's very, very bad for the environment.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it is.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so a lot of fossil fuel go ahead.
No. I got to shut up. You go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I'm back from my stint at the Chatauqua Institute, and I have to brag. Lewis Black performed, and he read one of my rants.
What?
Oh, mazel tov.
What? Where did he come across one of your rants?
They had it not a contest, but you could submit a rant, so I did. And they picked it, which shocked me.
What was your rant? And if anyone knows a good rant, it's Lewis Black.
100%.
So what was your rant?
My rant was about the rise of technology and the demise of paper.
Oh, wow. Can you share it with us?
I'll give you the ending. Everything with technology is getting out of control. Sooner or later, I'm going to need an app just to wipe my ass.
Or a tushy, which is a bidet, right?
Oh, I love it. And he read yours. Oh, wow. How exciting!
It was 6 minutes long. I was shocked, but I'll have a clip sooner or later.
Susan, lest you
that's
and
wonderful.
the audience, Mary is our budding stand-up comedian who just decided to become one in middle age. So,
well, she's hardly budding. She's out there in blooming.
well, it's only been a year, right?
3 years, but the last year has really been coming on.
Yeah,
Been an open micer before that. Never too late.
Lynn's tougher than I am. I say that you're in the beginning of a gorgeous bloom.
I like that. I like it.
So you said you had texted me or emailed me and said that you had just gotten back from Chatauqua for Comedy Week there. And she says, and for me, it was also a crash course on stealth wealth. Elaborate.
Indeed. Oh, no, okay. Nobody cares what they look like, which is good and bad. None of the women have all this injection, Botox. Nobody's wearing designer clothes. Nobody's swearing. There are no tattoos. What else? I'm going to get in trouble here. Most of the women have gray hair. It's just, you're supposed to pretend you're not as wealthy as you are, I guess, or I don't know. The one that got me was all the facelift things, because everybody I know is bitching about how they look. And these women, worth millions, could care less, which is a great attitude.
So wait a minute. You're saying to me that the women at Chatauqua don't do all of that crapola, but you're assuming they could because you're assuming they're rich?
Oh, they are. The house, if you want a house up there, it's, it's a couple million. If you're renting, it's $7,000 to $8,000 a week. Yeah, they're all rich. I'm there because I have a friend. I have a rich friend.
So, I've never been there. So you mean it's a pricey place. If you're at Chatauqua, by the way, is where Salman Rushdie was attacked and almost killed. Right.
That is the place.
It's been my observation that there is a vast difference between East Coast wealthy women and West Coast wealthy women, and that most of the nipping and tucking and blowing up thereof is on the West Coast. And the East Coast has been shabby chic for a very long time, I think.
Coastal grandma, is that what it is?
Yeah. Is that what coastal grandma is? But I've noticed that for years, that it's a totally, that blown up doctor, is very West Coast.
That
if
is
you're
West
doing
Coast.
It on the East Coast, it's much subtler.
Although it's Washington D.C. now too. That's the Trump women.
Yeah, but that's because of who's invaded. That has nothing to do with
invaded and taken.
Yeah, to circle back around, it's a gated community, and they have like a fake college, I call it. You can go take classes, which I did, and they have an amphitheater where Lewis performed. They have a lot of theaters. It's they want to learn about culture. And there's a spirituality component. It was founded by Methodists, I think.
Yeah, I have friends here who have gone with their family for years and years and years and years there. I mean, they never miss it. And they go to feed their heads because of all the lectures and the music and the stuff. It is for serious, intellectually inclined people, right?
Yes. I took a marketing class, and I was going to take a stand-up class, but I got kicked out. So.
What? Did you get kicked out?
Because I knew how to do it. It's for people who are dreaming about it. So,
did you get a chance to talk to Lewis? Did you get a chance to talk to Lewis Black, or were you just in the audience and he did your thing?
Nope, I talked to him a couple of times. I have a picture. I'll send it to you. I was talking to him, and my husband says, "Let's get a picture." I'm like, "No, it's okay." And Lewis grabs me. "No, let's get a picture." He's that nice. Yeah.
Wonderful. He's not
Yeah, he's great.
he's not a grumpy old guy. He's a nice guy.
No, that, as you would say, is his shtick.
Yeah.
He's wonderful.
Yeah,
think
I've
I
heard he's
saw-
a very nice man. He just doesn't want to get around.
I think
Someone
I saw
told him to
him
be
on
angry.
I think I saw him on that, Finding Your Roots thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, check that out. I think.
I think you did too.
Yeah, because I'm remembering that I did, and it was, it was interesting. So you should check that out. Finding Your Roots.
yeah, he said that. He popped. Someone advised him. You're so great when you're angry. Just be angry. So he did,
Right.
and then he popped. Yeah.
Well, I'm very Mary. It's just it's wonderful, wonderful. I'm happy for you. You're living the life.
Thank you. You guys are great too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I'm vaguely envious.
Yeah,
But good for you.
Bye.
Alrighty.
Wow.
Hang in there. Bye.
Yeah, you
See ya.
too. Man, you're sitting in the audience and Lewis Black is using your material. I love that. That'd be heady stuff.
It is heady stuff.
Way to go, Mary. All right. Oh my gosh. So,
And like a true Miller, you're saying, yeah, you're budding.
oh, you mean well,
yeah, keep trying.
well, she is. She's at the beginning of her career, this new career. And she's taken off. But yeah,
Yeah.
you think budding wasn't meant to, it was a compliment. No?
Oh, I know it was a compliment. I was just suggesting she was further down the path.
Oh, well, I mean, further down the path being, what? Having her own HBO special, being the what?
Getting noticed by bigwigs and having them pick up her material.
Well, I agree. That's huge. That's just huge.
Yeah.
But, wow. So, all right. So we made it pretty much, right?
We
I got
did.
2 minutes.
We got 2 minutes left to say the world's going to hell in a handbasket. What do you expect us to say?
Well, Paul, wait, I just see we've got another email here. Well, it's just Paul writes, when we were talking about AI and all this, Paul writes, hell, it took me forever to move beyond encyclopedias. Yeah. Yeah, Paul, we hear you. Susan, I was thinking of our encyclopedia, the World Book Encyclopedia.
Yeah.
I really did. I thought they were wonderful, and I used them in doing reports all the time.
We used them. Now that's what you did. You didn't Google. If you wanted to know about anything, you went over and you opened a book and you looked it up and you read about it.
Yeah.
I used to love it. I used to love the feel of the pictures and in the Encyclopedia Britannica, the overlays on some of the pictures and stuff. It just,
Nice stuff. Yeah. Well,
and then 2 seconds later, I remember at the very beginning of computers, my husband was always so funny about his things. He decided we should have the Encyclopedia Britannica. I said, Eric, they aren't going to be useful anymore. They'll always be useful. No, I said, you're wasting a ton of money. No, we're gonna. A home is not a home. Okay, Eric, you can have spent an ungodly fortune on the damn thing.
Yeah, they're expensive as hell.
And bought annuals and great books and I'm just looking at them and 2 seconds later it's all gone and it's all online and I'm just going, what do I do with this stuff? You couldn't even give them away.
They make good doorstops. I don't know, Suze. I don't know. Sometimes a book, though, is a precious thing.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. All right, we be done. And give Mom a hug for me.
I will.
Okay.
I'm going to go. I told her she could snooze. It's a gray day because I was busy with you and she didn't have to get up. So now I have to go and.
Oh, she hasn't gotten out of bed. Okay.
No. She lives a life of leisure these days.
Well, she's entitled. All right. Thanks, Suze.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. And okay, the rest of you, I'll be back tomorrow. And unfortunately, I'll
Lynn
have
Cullen
the
Live,
bad stuff
Monday
to
through
talk
Thursday
about.
from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper or its advertisers.